Greetings, I'm Courtney. I've been drinking ayahuasca for over 20 years, and in this episode of Behind the Altar, it's a series where I just share some of the wild and crazy adventures of what happens in the life of being an ayahuasquera. And today I'm talking about the journey of being an apprentice, a plant medicine apprentice. There are still quite a few traditions, especially in the ayahuasca space, that follow the old lineage perspective that in order to learn to do the work of pouring plant medicine, that we need to learn from somebody who has learned from somebody else, that it is passed down in a traditional apprenticeship. And I had the honor of working with a couple different gentlemen that are impeccably trained and incredibly powerful behind the altar for many years. About a decade of my life has been spent in that role of apprentice. And when I agreed to take that on with my main teacher many years ago, he essentially articulated it to me that it had to be the number one priority in my life. And at the time I was married, raising a stepson, had a lot of other priorities, company, friends, my own physical well-being, but he was very clear that this takes precedence, this agreement to learn to be a medicine carrier above all else. And it was enormously confronting how true that became. I did end up getting a divorce. I did end up leaving a lot, almost all of my friends, my sense of safety, my home, because it wasn't aligned, because the path of being an apprentice, it asks everything of us. One of the most confronting and beautiful aspects of apprenticing is that the medicine themselves, in my case ayahuasca, requires us as apprentices to look at every nook and cranny of our shadow over and over and over again. The flavor, the intensity of my ceremony shifted quite dramatically when I agreed to take on that apprenticeship, because the game was on, right? And the medicine knew, oh, she wants to learn. And so, man, have I and do I still go through the ringer, because she loves me and she holds me accountable. And that is part of how she acts as my maestra as well. And I just don't have words for what it took from me in order to continue the path for that many years and to now do it on my own. A Shipipo maestra once said to me that really only maybe 5% of the people who take on an apprenticeship actually take it to its completion and begin pouring medicine themselves. It is devastatingly difficult, and it's really unique in the ways in which it shows up in those challenges for each of us. However, I wouldn't give up a single one of those challenges, because it made me who I am, gave me the confidence to sit behind the altar, also the humility to know what I don't know, to know how much I still have edges and always will, and still have ignorance. And so it's an interesting path working with the medicine in this way to, on the one hand, find your space of confidence and trust in yourself, but also that deep, deep awareness of humility of like, and I know so little. I never know what's going to happen when I sit behind the altar, and it's always surprising. But what I found through my apprenticeship is that I can handle it, because I handled a lot. So many crazy stories. If you are called or beginning an apprenticeship yourself, just be willing to sacrifice all the things that you may be clinging to in order to find something more spacious, because the medicines, they ask everything of us, but they give even more in return. Truly, there is nothing that I have brought to ayahuasca's altar in a space of vulnerability that she hasn't exceeded every expectation and then some, which is why I'm hopelessly devoted, because she shows up for me when I show up for her. And it makes sense, right? That's what a relationship, especially a sacred and intimate one, should look like. So if this is your path as well, deep bow. It takes so much courage and so much calling and commitment, and yet you are so incredibly needed. So it's an honor to walk this path with all of you feeling called to be of service to the medicine and the people that love them. Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're at on your path. Anything I can do to support you, it is my honor. Much love, and thank you for listening.